Hey guys, we need to talk about something that is very pressing in the cryptocurrency market right now, and I see as a very big potential issue, also as a very big potential positive thing, and that is crypto regulation. Now, it's not very often you hear cryptocurrency investors say the word positive when it comes to regulation, but there are upsides, and of course, there are downsides as well. With the recent FTX collapse, we kind of have to ask the question, is crypto going down a road in which regulation will kill it? Right? And that is a question we have to ask increasingly over the next few years, of course, as crypto really does come out of its, quote unquote, wild west phase where anything kind of goes. Have regulatory parties seen enough of this, rug pull scam on exchange, on coins? Have they seen enough, and are they finally stepping in and giving consumer protection? Is that consumer protection perhaps a little bit too authoritarian? Or is it perhaps a little bit too light-handed? We have to really analyze these questions and understand how it's going to affect Bitcoin. If you're interested in long-term investments in Bitcoin, you're interested in long-term investments in crypto, it's very important to understand what this regulation actually means. And we're going to get into that a lot in this video. Before we get into the video, I do want to quickly say, if you want to learn how to trade, you can check out the Crypto Academy courses. Myself and Mega Crypto have a course teaching people how to trade. If you want an exchange to trade on, this channel is sponsored by BitGet Exchange, which is very low fees, etc. We use this on the YouTube channel a lot. You should sign up using my referral link in the pinned comment below to get exclusive discounts and rewards. And if you're interested in VIP, becoming a VIP member of the channel, in which you can trade altcoins with us in our Telegram group, you can do so in the pinned comment as well. Let's get into the video, guys. Now, the way I see it is there's good regulation and there's bad regulation. I think that some regulation is a little bit too authoritarian. For example, Canada, right? Canadian exchanges, and which is obviously driven by the Canadian government, enforced essentially a $30,000 Canadian dollar per year cap on how much cryptocurrency you can buy outside of four major coins, which I think is Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin, and Ethereum. So you can buy in Canada, and this was in August, as much Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, and Bitcoin Cash as you want. But any other coin you buy, you only have 30,000 Canadian dollars of capital to invest in those coins. They're essentially restricting a free market here. This is authoritarian in my opinion. This is not acceptable because what it does, first of all, it's under the guise of consumer protection, right? I think that as investors, you have a personal responsibility to do research on the projects that you want to invest in. And if you lose money, that should be your problem. I don't think the consumer protection argument investor protection argument is particularly compelling because I don't think it's the government's place to tell people where they can or where they can't put their money. I think it's completely up to the individual in that case. But that, of course, is the libertarian in me speaking. But I would say regardless, even with a $30,000 cap, even if you were going to buy the argument that it is for investor protection, the problem with it is, not everyone earns the same amount of money. $30,000 cap for someone who is in the middle class or the lower class might be sufficient. They might be happy with that. That might be okay. But for someone who is a multi-millionaire, a $30,000 cap on altcoins is completely and utterly ridiculous because that is a very, very small percentage of their capital, and hence they've completely been restricted from investing in the market altogether at that point because $30,000 to them is essentially nothing. So I think, even if you were going to use the argument of this is for investor protection, it's a faulty argument because people have different levels of net worth and people have different levels of free liquid capital that they can invest in the market, and to give a broad cap like that is clearly very authoritarian. So that is an example, and I'm kind of introducing the video here by saying this, that is an example of negative regulation. That is an example of regulation that will act to destroy a cryptocurrency market. Now, obviously people will, and if they're super interested, they of course can get around this regulation quite easily. But the problem with it is this, not many people actually want to break the law. Okay, that's very important. So if crypto was to be banned hypothetically on a broader level, not many people actually want to break the law. Most people would abide. Even if they like cryptocurrency, they don't want to risk it. Right? They've got too much on the line. They've got a family, kids, house, mortgage, whatever. They don't want to risk it. Right? So it is dangerous to see countries such as Canada put these broad caps on most cryptocurrency coins. Another problem with it is it's like, who's choosing what coins can be invested in? Who chose Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, and Bitcoin Cash? Who was the guy who chose that? Obviously it was a community of people that a collection of people that chose it. But the point is, who is choosing what people can and cannot invest in? It seems rather authoritarian. So that is an example of bad regulation. Another example of bad regulation would be this. MetaMask, and I suppose there is a good argument to be made for it. But MetaMask now, in the downfall of FTX and the collapse of FTX, has said MetaMask will begin collecting users' IP addresses. Now, MetaMask, of course, was a decentralized thing. Okay, now that they're collecting IP addresses, it's no longer really that decentralized. Okay, so they're acting to track funds. Obviously, there's been regulatory pressures on whoever it is that is behind MetaMask for that to happen via certain authorities. Maybe people trying to track criminals, whatever. The point is, left, right, and center, what we're really seeing in the crypto market right now is the decentralized nature of the market is being squeezed like a lemon by regulatory parties, right? That is not inherently good, because crypto, of course, the whole point of crypto rarely is decentralization. But it is worth noting that decentralization is a bit of a pipe dream. We can't really have decentralization, right? It can't really happen. Crypto can't really exist with pure decentralization. Now, there will always be decentralized ways to invest in cryptocurrency, but it might be illegal, and it might be going incognito behind governments and regulatory parties' back, right? There will always be ways to do that. Crypto will always exist in a decentralized manner. But in terms of legally speaking, decentralization will be mostly stopped. The objective of government, of course, is to squeeze as much tax money out of anything, wherever they can. So if something is decentralized, if something is non-KYC, then they can't, there's no guarantee that, people are paying their taxes. And obviously they're going to step in there and give it as much regulation as it needs until people pay their taxes, if that's your objective. I will say again, FTX regulation, you just Google this on Google here, straight away we've got Singapore ready to implement practical regulation. We've got a Middle Eastern country ready to implement crypto regulation. Again, I use that quote, Wild West days are over. We've got the Australian Financial Times, what is this? Let me see here. Financial Review, Financial Review again saying we need to implement crypto regulation. Aussie Treasurer, promises crypto regulation next year amid FTX debacle. Okay, so FTX has really triggered this. I mean, it triggered the MetaMask thing as well, right? FTX crashing, FTX going down, collapsing, whatever you may be, being sabotaged, some people would say, has really kicked the ball off with this. And I would say this, and this is where we'll get into the positives of regulation in a second, but Kevin O'Leary, you guys might know him from Shark Tank, bit of a big name in the finance space. He is of the opinion, and I partially agree with his opinion, that if you are bullish on cryptocurrency, you should believe in crypto regulation, right? Why would he say that? Well, let's get into this right now. Regulation, pros and cons, okay? There's two main pros and two main cons of regulation. Pros, if we have increased regulation, you're going to see institutions and major investors, okay, right, be more interested in crypto, right? They're going to see it as a more, they need guidelines. Institutional investors, they want guidelines. They want there to be a safety net. They want there to be some sort of centralization involved, not only for them, but also for their clients, who are generally speaking very wealthy people who have made a lot of money in traditional markets, who are more interested in centralized things. So increased institutional interest comes with massive regulation. That's a pro, because obviously more institutional interest equals more money in the market. Of course, market goes up. Increased retail interest in major caps would also come with more regulation. The people who might be a bit superstitious about cryptocurrency might think it's a bit of a scam still. If they see that regulation come in, they might deem it more safe. Also, with increased institutional interest, you're going to get more major funds reaching out to retail investors, saying, hey, come invest in crypto through us. So that's obviously going to reach a new market as well. Those are the pros. So more regulation equals more interest in crypto as a whole. Now, the cons are more regulation equals more manipulation, because if you have more institutional interest in cryptocurrency, it becomes very, very manipulated, and it might start to further mock what is going on, further mimic, what's happening with stock markets. It might just become a clone market to a certain extent. You're also going to have, you're also going to see with increased centralization, with increased regulation, major players holding much more of the coins, and hence if they were to ever implement a ban or a major restriction on cryptocurrency, they could do it very easily because they hold most of the crypto. They control most of the market. So it becomes too centralized, right? So those are the major pros and those are the major cons. Now, there needs to be a balance, and this is where we get into the longevity of Bitcoin. Do I think there is going to be a balance? Very hard to say. I think as of right now, we're entering a very uncertain time, and we're entering a very risky time, because it's in the government's best interest. It's in many governments' best interest to not ban crypto. They don't want to ban crypto because they see a whole demographic of people who are interested in cryptocurrency who are going to make money in crypto most likely. Okay, well, a lot of them are at least, right? Hence the market going up, right? You know, a lot of them are going to lose money as well, but that's not the point. Who are going to end up paying massive amounts of tax based on the gains they've made in crypto, right? So it is in their interests, right, to regulate it to the point in which people are still willing to use crypto, but it's not completely obsolete via over-regulation. That's my opinion. I think they will regulate it to that point. I don't think we'll see, decentralized non-KYC exchanges, all this kind of stuff last for that much longer. I don't think we'll see that. As for BitGet, for example, they've recently had a bit of problems with the US, and this is, broader. This isn't just BitGet, this is Binance, etc. The USA has come and said, hey, we're not allowing our citizens to sign up to certain exchanges, and if they can sign up, but they're not going to be able to use leverage, or they're going to be able to use 2x leverage, which is nothing, and they're restricting it. Basically, they're restricting a lot of things, which is obviously an infringement on free rights in participating in a quote unquote free market, which isn't very free when you restrict it like that. And BitGet has said, okay, well, US users can still sign up and use it normally. They just have to use non-KYC. They just have to use VPN. Now, I'm not sure how much longer that's going to be able to go on for. Again, I'm not an expert on this kind of thing. What I can say, of course, is that too much regulation not only is an infringement on the personal rights of people who should be able to take responsibility for their own investments, it also will lead to less, I think it will lead to less development in the cryptocurrency space, okay? Because right now we have a free market where anyone can make anything. Yes, there are scams that are made very often. Yes, there are rug pulls that are made very often. But if you regulate the crypto space like Canada is doing, okay? Take Canada, for example. They're saying you can only invest $30,000 per year in altcoins, essentially. If everyone does that, why would you start an altcoin? Why would you create an altcoin? Why would you create an altcoin if no one is going to invest in it? No one's going to be interested and no one's going to use it, okay? So I think what they're doing now is severely limiting innovation in the cryptocurrency space, which is negative. And they might be doing this on purpose so that they can take initiative and they can be in charge of the innovation that takes place and not leave it to private companies, for example. That might be one of the things they're doing there. But I think people ultimately, just to kind of understand the concept of studio, I think people really need to start taking regulation very seriously and really start to understand what it means for crypto, because it's getting more and more intense. And who knows, in 10 years, it might be too intense. I suppose just to end off the video, I want to wrap up by saying time is limited, guys. This market, and I think I've proven it in this video, there's a lot of uncertainty, and this market, might not be around forever. And crypto is one of those markets which you probably know if you're in this space. The amount of opportunity in the cryptocurrency space, even during a bear market, is so much higher than that of any other market that exists. It's higher than Forex, it's higher than stocks, it's higher than gold, it's higher than trading commodities. This market is literally a gold mine. And if you learn how to approach it correctly, if you learn TA correctly, you learn how to do fundamental analysis correctly, you can make genuinely generational wealth. And I suppose this video is just a small little reminder. When people are thinking about, I'll just come back in the next bull market, guys, I believe it's gonna be there. I believe it's gonna come. But the point is, it's not guaranteed, right? You have probably have a limited amount of time in which the opportunity level is this high. Even going back 4 years ago, look how high the opportunity was there. It's way higher than it is now. So 4 years from now, it's going to be a lot lower than it is now. The point is, opportunity, it's not going to wait for you. It's not going to wait for you to come back to the market after working for 4. It's not going to wait. You have to catch it, right? I really want people to understand that before they go away from the cryptocurrency market, before they just go and do their own thing into the next bull market in 2024, 2025, right? You need to understand the time to act is always now. If you're interested in crypto, you're interested in making money in the markets, the time to act is always now. It's not next year, it's not the year after, it's not when the bull market comes back. It's during the bear market. It's during when everything is boring. Learn as much as you can. Gather those skills, and when the bull market does come, you will make way more money than you would otherwise. Act now. Don't wait. Thanks, guys.